Welcome back. I hope you didn't miss us much. We're in the archives and we're continuing with Jenna. So Jenna, where should we start? Let's start off with this question. A good friend of mine's in New York asked
Sure.
B. He's recently been meditating every day for 45 minutes, and recently during his meditation, he's been getting these metallic tastes in his mouth and
Mm,
like a tingling. He wants to know, could this be a bioelectric charge, his chi combining with like a bioelectric charge.
absolutely. Yeah, your energy body, when you do activate it through intention and through thought, um, is electric. It is a magnifying device, and that if there's anything in your body that's foreign that shouldn't be there, I mean, the tongue is quite an exquisite organ, and that if there are heavy metals in your body, that will come up. And my experience through that is the importance of detoxification and living on a planet that is, from what I understand and from what I've directly experienced, and this is just my experience, is the spraying of heavy metals over our atmosphere and sinking into our earth. That is also going into our bodies, being of the earth, and that what I understand from, or what I think from what you're saying is that your body, being all charged up by your own intention, your own thought, your energy field, just being as juicy and brilliant as it is going woof, and it's coming up to your mouth and it's telling you that you need to detox these metals that are in your body. People talk about the chemtrail spraying program as though it's a conspiracy or something like that. It's not.
It's
One of
the
the big
elephant in the room.
Yeah, and that probably what your body is telling you, being the intelligence that it is of the earth directly, is that you need to remove these toxins. And there's tons of ways that you can do this, and you can research this. Here at the ranch, we do ionic foot baths, and we take calm tea, which is a calcium magnesium supplement, and it helps you flush that out. There's lots of reasons that they say they're spraying these things for weather modification, for the protection of all. But really, it may be doing those things, but not in the highest and best good of humanity and the earth. They might want to save the earth at some cost for whatever reason to do. I mean, I'm not one for making bold statements or grand conclusions, but I've observed chemtrail spraying in areas all over the world, and it's a very real phenomenon. So if you are tasting heavy metals in your mouth, you should look into some detox because that's what your body's telling you.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to interject something about the chemtrails. I'm really starting to lean heavily towards the idea that the metals that they are spraying, and Jay Widener put this quite well in the interview that played last week when this will air. Uh, uh, that the metals that they're putting in the air is basically for a conductor to create
Yeah.
to create uh, a electromagnetic shield to try and block the energies that are coming in from the center of the galaxy and from our sun that are actually working to change and evolve our beings, our DNA, change us. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what that's the theory that I'm really leaning towards. That's the one that's starting to make the most sense to me out of this whole mess.
Well, that is one theory that I resonate with, but I also feel that there's various and there's many ways you can look at this, but I see a ton of different applications of this program. But
Well,
yeah, I do think that is one of them, and also the fact that if you absorb like a lot of this, you could totally be, you can be identified in infrared and all these other things.
All right.
If you're from one of these high voltage areas that they're spraying. And I mean, really, I laugh at it. You know, I don't think that I'm, I refuse to look at myself as though I'm a victim of it, because I've seen what this program is doing to the soil.
Yeah.
I've watched it, being a gardener and observing a lot of other scientific perspectives. I mean, you can look up what on the earth are they spraying. I mean, he has done a magnificent work at categorizing and explaining what is going on in the pH of the soil. Trust me, I did not understand pH until I came here and started realizing the task that was at hand. Wonderful task to help others to realize that they can grow food. I mean, we've got a seed war going on. We've got all kind. I mean, war is a very strong word, but we've got some things going on here that are drastically affecting us.
So what are you doing anything specific in your gardens to counteract the issues with the pH and
Yeah. I've been notified by various beings here, and what I want to communicate is that it's crazy. Like, if you could see, if you could just peel off the hat that you've got on, and it's not bad that you've got that hat on. The reason you've got the hat is because you're here, and we're in the process of taking that hat off, is that you'll see that there are a vast amount of beings. Like, I mean, fairies alone. I mean, people talk about fairies. There's just this multitude of beings that are working at all times, all seasons, and that what they're telling me, and this is out of pure service, it's not work, it's pure love, and that decomposition is what has been brought to me. Decomposition and compost, the things that we eat, the organic matter, is that there's two aspects they've shown me, and I want to share this with everybody, is that decomposition, compost, like everything, get into it. Vermicompost, you can do it in your apartment. I did it in my apartment before, and I'm doing it here again. Compost, decomposition, creating new soil. Also, the intention, if you have a garden, or even if you have a few boxes of soil and they're in your apartment, they're on your windowsill, you make a place for yourself, a chair, your throne, where you sit and you emanate, you meditate, and you send your intention out. That's been my really big message. It's come through various masters, not just the nature spirits. Like Baba G is someone that we work with here at the ranch, and he's talked about how to, place yourself, make a space, and I've seen it within every garden to sit there, and everyone, and I'm going to make it a big part of the program here at ECETI, that visitors with pure intention, if you want to meditate, you come into our gardens and help us restore the soil, because we are experiencing, I don't want to call it all-out warfare, because I refuse to give them that acknowledgement, but I've watched the soil change in a season through the pH. They're trying to raise the acidity so that you can't grow seeds unless they're their seeds. And I'll tell you, my friends, this is no conspiracy. I'm watching it with my eyes.
Wow, I didn't know it was that deep like that.
Yeah, because the whole heirloom GMO seed thing that's going on, it's been a long time, and I've had the signature of the seed written in my soul. I actually aligned with the 13 moon calendar about 3 years ago, when I realized that I wanted to start unplugging from the matrix. We can get into this, is that I realized that the Gregorian calendar is completely, talk about tracing the origins of when we disconnected from nature. This is one aspect. and that the 12-month calendar that we're currently on is in complete disalignment with the actual planet that we're living on.
I agree.
And solar system that we're living in, and that you can use 2 calendars. You can remember when you've got to go here and do this and do that and all that. But the 13 moon calendar is put out, you can look at it at 13moon.com. Eden Sky is a wonderful seer in our time, and I adore this woman. She, with Jose Arguelles, people can say all kinds of things, but what matters beyond the controversy is the knowledge that, we're living on a planet that is changing, that is ascending. We have to return to the original knowledge with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it can help us remember. But also that this nature spirit knowledge that's coming forward is also contained within it the energy of the goddess energy, the Magdalene. And I mean, I didn't understand this until I came here, until I really began my studies, but I realized that I'm carrying this frequency, and there's a lot there, and that you can work with through, various calendars, but the mind calendar, especially when it comes to new moons, there's a new moon in 2 days, and I think it's the second this is going to air, there's a new moon starting, and if you want to manifest anything, you can start then, and you can work your way to the full moon, and it's the remembrance of that, so.
Yeah. It actually airs the 9th, so it'll be full moon when it airs. But starting with that, because there's a lot of weirdness going on our planet, and when I say weirdness, I mean good weirdness. I'll start off with a quick story. This would be, when this airs, this would be like 2 weeks ago. Recently, I gave the different choices to my students. I had 3 students, all adults. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about food? Do you want to talk about greetings, how to say hello, and those kind of things, or do you want to talk about paranormal?
For
those who don't know, Ramon teaches conversational English in Japan.
Oh, cool. Good. Okay.
Yeah. So after I taught them what the word paranormal meant, and the 2 girls jumped right on it, and the guy, I guess he kind of felt like I have no choice. So they, one of them had a great story. When she was a kid, she went to a park with her friends, and they play there all day, normal, nothing strange. And they come back the next day, and the park's not there. When they asked the adults around them, the adults never heard of it. It's always been what it was. So I told her, I think that to me sounds like a time slip. Like maybe in the one time frame that she was in was a park, and then the next when they jumped.
Yeah. Even language starts to collapse at that point. Absolutely. I mean, that happened to me a lot when I was a kid, because I would these full stories about so-and-so was there and so-and-so was there, and they'd be like, no. They weren't there. I wasn't there. What are you talking about? And the recurrence of that kind of phenomenon. I mean, whoa. My thoughts on that are that there's many, like James, what James said, and I, one of my great friends and teachers, he's a friend more than a teacher sometimes too, is that this is something he said. There's as many realities unfolding as there are people. So really, with this dimensional shift, as I like to call it, because it's a shift in many ways, there's a merging happening, because I've experienced it, I've seen it from my own perspective, through my experiences, is that there's a merging happening, and that sometimes those veils can be very thin. And also on the planet, being a living being, is at certain points, I mean, who knows? That playground, or where they thought that playground was, may have been a really awesome energy center, and they all walked into it, and they all went somewhere, and that's totally normal, and that's great.
Yeah. So let's go a little bit into the story that you have with